And welcome back, everyone. Time for Daybreak and 10 on Colored 10. You know we're with you, commercial free from now until the end of the newscast. We check in with meteorologist Elisa Rapp to start things off. She has our forecast first.
Good morning, Joe. Starting out dry with some sunshine out there this morning. It is a warm and nice start out there on this Tuesday. Dry, 71 degrees with southerly winds and some sticky dew points. You've got some clear conditions on satellite and radar, so if you're headed back to work and school this morning, you'll have some dry roads. It is 70 degrees in West Plains, 69 degrees in Monette, and 71 degrees in Springfield. Of course, with dew points in the upper 60s to near 70, that's telling us that it is still a little bit humid out there this morning. So if you're homeschooling today, you'll find some sunshine outside of your window early, a couple of more clouds this afternoon, then you might find a couple of storms, especially if you live north of the interstate. We're teetering a front that stays to the north, so you'll find some showers and storms possible there with cooler lower 80s, more sunshine and closer to 90 degrees to the south. You're quiet overnight tonight, just cooler to the north, and then we keep a shower chance tomorrow as that front hangs out nearby. So you'll find some showers and maybe some rumbles of thunder to the north today and tomorrow. A couple of showers Thursday and into Friday as that front seeps southward. It will bring us a slow cool down. By the time that cooler air mass gets here, it's not quite as intense, so you won't find the big push of fall air like some of our friends in the northern plains and in the western Rockies are getting. You'll see headlines today for that, for a very fall and winter-like feel. For us, you're looking at temperatures slowly getting down towards 80 degrees by Sunday and Monday. Overnight lows in the upper 50s and lower 60s. Shower chances Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Joe?
New for you this morning. September is National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and you should know that prevention always starts with the detection of recognizing warning signs. Nigel McDonald knows about some of those, and she spoke with NAMI to help discuss ways to seek help during a crisis. Nigel.
Yeah, Joe, good morning. From a pandemic to national conversations about justice and race, there's a lot of things happening right now that can prompt anxiety or depression. Now, YAMI is using the month of September to spread suicide prevention awareness. The group says suicidal thoughts, much like mental health conditions, can affect anyone. Adding, most people thinking about suicide show warning signs before taking action, which can include things like isolating from family and friends, aggression, fatigue, sleeping too much or too little. NAMI encourages using the QPR, or question, persuade, and refer method when reaching out to someone you know displaying warning signs. The nonprofit's marketing director says young people are really stepping up and working to decrease the stigma surrounding mental health.
I think the younger generations are also more able to talk about it. It's almost more normalized in their generation to say, you know, I live despite having X condition. It's just not a big deal to some of the younger generations, and I think we have a lot to learn from them.
Well, help is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week through the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline number and the crisis text line. Now, those numbers are 1-800-273-TALK, or you can text GOT5 to 741-741.
All right, thank you, Nigel. We have a coronavirus update here. Springfield Public Schools announces several new exposures over the last few days. 2 people at Jeffries Elementary have tested positive, 1 at Holland and 1 at Delaware as well. In all cases, the district says a limited number of people need to quarantine, and the health department has already contacted them. Springfield school board members will meet later to check on the 2019 bond project. The district is able to build a new building for York Elementary. Also on the agenda, a partnership with the city of Springfield. Stephen Hall with SPS says he hopes the crossing guard program is able to continue.
Our crossing guards throughout the city provide valuable resources and support for our students each and every day. And so we're very proud of that program, the cooperation that we have with the city of Springfield and the vendor that provides those critical services.
Crisis followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
City Council will be reading a bill to renew the agreement. Also, there is a local group planning to speak again against the mask mandate. Members of the Greene County, Missouri Republican Assembly say they're not against the rule, but they are against the rule, but not against wearing a mask in general.
We are not anti-mask. We diss nobody for wearing a mask, for wanting to wear a mask, for feeling like they need to wear a mask. We encourage people who feel like they want to wear a mask to wear a mask. We are opposed to a big tyranny.
City Council will also be talking about the rezoning of more than 4 acres of property on South Lone Pine Avenue, improvements to Campbell Avenue and Republic, and creating a position for a Director of Diversity and Inclusion for the city. We look ahead now at some news around the Ozarks. Branson's mask ordinance is set to expire today, but Board of Aldermen members are meeting in the afternoon to talk about whether to extend it. Last week in a study session, they found out that tourism in Branson declined while the ordinance was in place. But Taney County's health director says the number of cases has gone down over the past 2 weeks due to this mask rule. We'll be there to cover this meeting and bring you the updates. 1 person is dead and 4 others injured in a head-on crash in Ozark County. The accident happened on Highway 5 just a few miles north of the Arkansas state line. A Dodge Avenger crossed the center line, hitting a Chevy Avalanche head-on. A passenger in the Avenger was pronounced dead after being taken to the hospital. The driver and a second passenger suffered moderate injuries, as did the driver and a passenger in the Avalanche. Moving around the region now, a student group at the University of Kansas goes on strike and calls for the school to shut down. The Jayhawker Liberation Front organized the protest, saying it's in response to the growing number of COVID cases on campus. Students are calling for KU to close the campus, provide exit testing for students, and to implement a no credit system for students, among other things. Other students say they think the university is managing the pandemic as much as possible.
From what I've seen, I feel like that everyone's really doing enough. I think that people are mostly doing their part, except for like the select few, which I feel like people should just take the accountability for themselves to kind of wear the masks. But I feel like the university is doing what they can.
As of September 2nd, the school has tested over 22,000 people. 546 of those tests came back positive. Moving on to some news around America, the Oregon State Patrol is reporting that 2 people were arrested after violent protests outside the state capital of Salem yesterday. The violence took place during an American Lives Matter rally as about 150 pro-Donald Trump supporters faced off against 50 counter-protesters. Projectiles were thrown and paintballs fired into the crowd. Monday marked another night of violent protests in South Los Angeles as well over the shooting death of Dijon Kizzee. Protesters are demanding justice because they believe the 29-year-old was a victim of systemic racism. Sheriff's deputies say Kizzee punched one of their officers and was in possession of a semi-automatic handgun. The sheriff's department has not said whether the suspect pointed his gun at the officers, though. Protests also continue in Rochester, New York, as hundreds gathered last night on the steps of the public safety building there. The crowd was demanding justice for Daniel Prude. Authorities worked to try to clear them, saying the rally was an unlawful assembly. The 6th night of these protests comes after authorities recently released that video of Prude's death from police. At least 7 officers involved in that altercation have been suspended with pay. And going around the world, Hong Kong is expected to relax some of its social distancing measures Friday and is in talks with several countries about a travel bubble. It will also allow groups of 4 people to dine at restaurants or go to entertainment venues. The potential travel bubble with 11 countries would require travelers to be tested for COVID-19 on both ends of travel. So far, Hong Kong's bubble shortlist includes Japan, Thailand, South Korea, and Australia. Moving back to some more local news for you. Beginning today, all Greene County Park Board family centers will require temperature checks before entering. The facilities included are Chesterfield, Dan Kinney, and Doling Family Center. Anyone with a temperature of 100.4 or higher will not be allowed in for at least the next 24 hours. Also, we've got a traffic alert for you. If you plan on driving northbound on US 65 at the bridge over US 60, there will be some slowdowns for these next few days. Crews are closing the left north lane as they clean and seal the bridge. This is starting today at 9 and expected to last until 8 p.m. Thursday. Let's take a look now what's coming up for you on CBS This Morning.
Coming up, the latest on the record-setting damage in California as wildfires continue to rage, plus concerns about the impact of politics on public confidence in the race for a COVID-19 vaccine. Coming up on CBS This Morning.
All right, so Labor Day was yesterday. Everyone is getting back into the groove right now, all right? Got to go back to work, got to go back to school, or get out of bed and go to the home office, right?
Right.
That's kind of what's happening here.
Make it to the living room. You've got sunshine out there this morning. It is dry to start, a little bit warm with temperatures in the 70s. We'll find some storms to the north today because we're teetering that very strong front that we've been talking about that's going to bring us a gradual cool down. So 89 degrees today with those storms to the north. We really don't find the cool down until the end of the week, into the weekend, and by the time it gets here, not quite that punchy.
Hey, you know what though? Today, not too bad if you're not to the north, and you can practice some of those tactics that Misty Fry taught us earlier if you got a pet at home, right?
With the pup at home.
Exactly. Not too bad at all. Everyone enjoy the 80s. You're going to get your fall weather soon. Don't worry about it. Thanks for watching us here on Daybreak, everyone. We'll have more news for you coming up on at midday.